Hey guys, I want to talk about skin today, and but before we do that, I just want to say I hope you had a wonderful holiday period. I think it still is a little bit of a holiday. We definitely are taking it easy at Hormones Balance, and we are kind of taking the week off and just having a little bit of a rest, and as is all very well deserved until next week, and then it's gonna be my 50th birthday next week Thursday actually, and so do look out for some special stuff that we've got prepared for you. And I'm gonna be going away for a long weekend with a few girlfriends and to a hot spring and such good things. So it's actually kind of fun to turn 50. Gives you a good reason to celebrate and for girlfriends to fly in from all around the country. All right. Well, I hope you're not covered by snow and you're sound and safe and warm. We definitely have had a huge, like a 1 foot of snow dumping on us yesterday in Colorado, but it's beautiful and sunny. So I'm grateful. And most importantly, we have power, we have everything in order. So, and even if I have no power, I still have a fireplace. So that keeps me warm. I want to talk about skin today because, and before I do that, also, I forgot to mention if you're on our mailing list, you might have seen that we are going to be increasing our prices of our supplements by the end of the 2nd of January. So you still have a couple of days left, 3 days left, 4 days left. And so on the 3rd of January, the new prices kick in. Some things we need to increase quite a bit, and others is just like $1 or $2, no big deal. So overall, we are not doing that, because it's an opportunistic sort of way of increasing prices, but we are doing that because our contract manufacturer have raised prices, and so we need to, in order to protect our own margins, for me to be able to pay our staff well and maintain a team and produce the quality of content we've been creating, we need to do that. So if you want to get things at the old prices, then this is the time now to shop. So I want to talk a little bit about skin because I think like aging and winter is like a double whammy, right? And so in today's call, I want to talk about the 5 different things that you can do to really support your skin. And just because you're 45 or 50 or 60, it doesn't mean that your skin has to really suffer. I mean, obviously, there's going to be signs of aging. That's very normal, unless you are Botoxing, and I'm not a fan of Botoxing. And for the obvious reasons, it is a neurotoxin, and I have seen a lot of women having reactions, not right away, but over a course of time. And here at Hormones Balance, we try to stay holistic, highly functional, and address the root cause of a problem rather than be fixing that with invasive methods such as Botox. And I've been asked so many times before if I Botox, and I'm 50 and no, I don't Botox, and I feel like I don't need to, and even if I needed to, I wouldn't do it. But instead, I want to impart with you some knowledge about skin that really help you keep your skin nice and plump. So we're going to talk about today about collagen. We're going to talk about diet and inflammation, about hormones. There are 2 specific hormones that impact your skin quality. That's estrogen and DHEA or testosterone. And then we're going to talk about products and clean ingredients to look out for. And then vitamin C, which is a really interesting one because vitamin C can really make a very big difference. So, I would just also want to not all of you know me for a long time, and I want to share with you that one of the reason why skincare is such an important topic for me is because I used to suffer from cystic acne most of my adult life, and actually my whole journey with holistic or functional nutrition and functional medicine actually started because of my skin issues. So until my late 20s, early 30s, I used to be covered with cystic acne. So it was like over here, I had it on my forehead, I had it on my chin, I had it even on my chest and my back and even my buttocks. And so it was, as you can imagine, it was really disheartening. On top of that, I used to live in a tropical country. So, you take off your clothes. I mean, you basically wear a bikini a lot of the time, you wear a lot of open clothes. And I was too embarrassed to do that because it was just such a such a big issue for me. And you can cover your zits on your face, but it's hard to cover the zits on the back. So this is when my journey with skin started, and it was just this article that I remember finding. This is, here you're talking about 30 years ago. It wasn't 30, it was 20 years ago, right? So it was 20 years ago. I found this article that says, is bread causing your acne? And I thought, wow, that's quite something. And I never really made the connection between adult acne and the food that I was eating. And so, I cut out gluten, and a lot of my skin issues went away, not completely, but about half of my acne vanished. And with that also came a lot of other benefits. Like, for example, I had a lot more energy. I did not have brain fog anymore. I wasn't bloated as much. And so then I was like, okay, well, this is working, but obviously something else is causing an issue here. So this is when I did a food sensitivity test, and it showed that I also have problems with dairy and eggs. And actually, between the two, eggs are really my bigger of an issue. Interestingly, as a child, I used to get really severe eczema all over my body, and that was from eggs. And my mom kind of knew, but she also felt like eggs were the healthy food, and so she kept feeding me eggs. And it's very common for a child to then continue on having a food sensitivity, but then it will manifest in a different way. So anyway, we're going to be talking a little bit about diet and inflammation, because that can make a huge impact on your skin and save you a lot of money and grief on, instead of spending more money on expensive supplements or expensive skincare products that promise you to take care of your adult acne, or rosacea or psoriasis, or we can talk about all of those. Is actually what's important is to address the root cause of the issue, which is diet and inflammation in those inflammatory skin conditions. So the first thing, maybe, since we are, Jen, since we are on a diet inflammation, why don't we just start off with that as the first tip? I have 5 tips for you today. So the first tip we're going to start off with is diet and inflammation. So, in my case, like I mentioned, it was dairy, gluten, and eggs. So with the biggest culprit in my acne journey. But it doesn't mean that those are, first of all, it doesn't mean that that's your problem too, right? It could be that you were perfectly fine with eggs, and it could be that it's sugar that's causing your skin issues. Now, and again, I had acne, but in your case, inflammation in skin could manifest in the form of psoriasis. It can be rosacea, it can be adult acne, but it could also be just dryness of the skin. Let me give you an example. Like sometimes, for those of you who've been on the journey for a long time, you get so passionate about this, and you've changed some things, you've added some supplements, or you've removed some foods, or you added some foods, you changed your diet, and you suddenly feel so much better, and you want to start telling everybody about it, right? Including your sister, your mother, your neighbor, your friends, and then all your advice kind of lands flat, right? And people just don't take it. And so it can be extremely frustrating. But I also want to assure it's perfectly normal. And so this is exactly what happened with my sister about 10 years ago. She used to have really dry skin on her hands, so much so that she had like a whole lineup of different skincare products for her face as well as for her hands, because of the dryness, right? But her hands were like particularly, and she was like, I'm a mom of 3 and I'm working so much, and I'm using my hands a lot for washing this and that. The truth is, she's got a dishwasher, she's got a husband, she had kids who could, take care of dishes. So she wasn't really doing that much housework, but there was always excuses that we find, right? And I kept saying to her for a long time, just try to get off gluten for like just a couple of weeks and see whether that eases off. It wasn't really my advice that worked. She got the advice from someone else, and that's when she implemented it. And guess what? It was gluten that was causing all her severe dryness of her hands and her skin. And so all of that went away. I had an assistant who had severe rosacea, and she's changed her diet, went on the elimination diet, which, just in case you're not familiar, the elimination diet basically cuts out all the highly inflammatory foods such as gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, corn, reduces sugar. Sugar, for some of you, some people are very sensitive to sugar. Other people are not sensitive at all. I wouldn't say not at all. It all depends on the amount of sugar you're consuming, right? But let's just say the sensitivities all vary. And you wouldn't really know until you cut out all these inflammatory foods. Surround yourself with really wholesome whole food diet, right? And in case you are new to this, we have two cookbooks. I've written Cooking for Hormone Balance, as well as Overcoming Estrogen Dominance. Both of them are available on Amazon, and both of them are based on the total elimination diet, when we're cutting out these 5 inflammatory foods, reducing sugar, and then you reintroduce these foods, and then you see how your body responds to that. In the new year, I would love to talk to you a little bit more about maybe, actually, let me ask you this question. Would that be helpful for me to do in January, like a call on what is the elimination diet? How do you cut out these foods? How do you reintroduce the foods to kind of figure out whether a food is your friend or your foe? Let me know in the chat whether this is something you will find helpful. And don't just say yes, because then I don't know what you're saying yes to. Just mention maybe elimination diet, helpful, yes, or if you don't find it helpful, just say no. I'm not going to be offended. So Michelle is saying yes, that would be fantastic. Okay, well, let's see whether we get more comments like that. So this is really where I really want to start off, because my own journey, like I said, has really started with the lowering inflammation overall in the body. And remember that your skin a lot of the time is a reflection of what's going on the inside of your body, right? So as much as, I love skincare products, we carry a skincare product that's super clean in our store. That's all dandy, great. But if you're really inflamed on the inside, it's going to be really, really hard for you to have beautiful, glowing, plump skin that is vibrant and lively, and without having to Botox and spend hundreds of dollars on like skincare products that are invasive or, promise skies and heavens. The health of your skin, I can't tell you, just emphasize this one more time, starts on the inside. So diet and lowering inflammation can make a profound difference. So so I think there's quite a lot of you talking about the elimination diet. So I will do that. We're going to be talking about detoxing in January, generally. So we're going to add on the elimination diet as well. And then I'm going to teach you how to do the elimination diet. You can do that with yourself. You don't need any help with that, but it's just important to have recipes. You surround yourself with recipes that are compliant with that concept. Okay. So that's the first one. And I'm wondering here, has any one of you noticed that when you do the elimination diet, or you notice that you've removed 1 or 2 foods, and then suddenly your skin looks better? In fact, a lot of people who do our protocols say to us that suddenly their friends and colleagues, even family members, will say like, wow, you're really glowing. Like, what have you been doing? And that glow comes typically from bright eyes. And so the elimination diet also helps you to improve your liver. And guess what? Liver health is also going to reflect on your skin. And then it's your skin that's glowing too. And so I'm curious, like, has any one of you experienced that? You change your diet and people go like, well, you're really glowing. Okay, so let's Jen, let's move on to our next tip, and that's going to be collagen production. So there is a few things I want to mention here, because collagen is all the rave right now for good reason, and is not only going to help your skin, but it's also going to help your hair. It's going to help your nails, the health of your nails. It's going to help your joints, your ligaments, right? And so all of that can be, like, if you're a sports person, it can really help you a ton. So we love collagen, and there's a couple of ways you can increase collagen in your body. The first one is obviously the straightforward one, which is getting collagen, good quality collagen, and then adding that to your morning beverage, to your smoothie. If you're doing smoothies, I can do smoothies in the winter because I find that it's just not the kind of food that I would want to eat. But whatever, it can be your beverage, right? That's a really great way of getting collagen in. The other one is you can get collagen in through making bone broths, it's a really great time right now to be making bone broth. The trick is that from bones itself, there's not going to be much collagen. Most of the collagen is going to come from joints. So, if you can score things like chicken feet, chicken necks, or turkey necks, anything that has got that very bendy, ligaments in it, right? That's going to be really where a lot of the collagen is going to come from. And we have a ton of recipes on the hormonesbalance.com website on how to make a bone broth. You can make it on your stove. I don't particularly like making it on the stove because you stink up the whole house. I like making mine in the Instant Pot, and it's literally like, chicken, like if I'm scoring chicken feet and necks and stuff, then I would make it for about an hour. That's plenty. And it just really nice coagulates and it's kind of like all nice, like a jello in the fridge when it's all cooled down. So another form of collagen I want to tell you about, because we do carry that in the store, but just heads up, it does not taste good. So you don't want to put that in your coffee or your tea. It's a collagen. In our store, we call it a collagen complete vanilla. So it's got a vanilla flavor. It's something that you might want to just put in a glass of water and just chug it down. But the specialty about this collagen, part of the reason why it doesn't taste particularly fantastic, is that it contains something called HMB. HMB stands for hydroxybeta-methyl-butyrate. And it is a substance, basically a natural metabolite of leucine. And the cool thing about it is that it increases lean muscle mass, which is for a lot of you who are especially like going through menopause, perimenopause, when you're feeling like your muscles are beginning to decline. That's a really cool thing. But the amazing thing, the special thing about HMB, which regular collagen does not have, is that this particular technology also, it has a dual mechanism that it inhibits protein degradation, which is what makes your skin sag. But on the other hand, it also promotes protein synthesis, right? So creation of protein, which is what your skin is made out of, fat and protein. So this is where the magic of HMB is. Like I said, full disclosure, I don't want to, BS you. It does not taste great. But, what we do, like with our team, when we were, for those of us who use the product, is basically having in a glass of water or with a bit of juice or adding a bit of lemon, squeezing a bit of lemon and just chugging it down. It will do the trick. If you are an athletic person, then it's going to help you to recover your muscle form pretty quickly. And so that's just some of the wonderful benefits of HMB. We also have another form of collagen, which is we just call it collagen complete. There's got no vanilla in it. So if you go to our website, wellnana.com, you'll find two collagens. So make sure the HMB one is the one that has the vanilla in it. Okay. So that's that. Let's see, Jen, let's move on to tip number 3, and that's going to be your hormones. So, like how you felt like you may feel like ever since you hit 45, 50, suddenly like this is not so plump anymore, right? This is beginning to sag. We are start having like a little bit of like, the skin is not as elastic, right? Like you can see that even on my neck too. I need to maybe work on that a little bit, right? The skin does not bounce back, so it doesn't have the same level of elasticity. And so this could be due to hormones dropping. And there's two main hormones that are responsible for the health of your skin. Is going to be estrogen and testosterone. Now, I'm not saying go out there and run to the nearest store and then go and get estrogen and testosterone. In fact, you should be really monitored by a functional practitioner before doing estrogen or testosterone, just because testosterone turns into estrogen, and estrogen, if it's not metabolized correctly, can be a leading cause of a lot of different estrogenic cancers. So I just want to caution you here just to be careful with that. However, there's several methods that you can increase your estrogen levels the most natural way. So you can do that through food, and flaxseed is the highest food when it comes to lignans. Lignans are Yeah, lignans, correct. Yeah, lignans that are very high in lignans are basically very, very high in phytoestrogens. It's a natural source of estrogen. The interesting thing is a lot of people get it wrong, including practitioners who say, well, if you have a history of breast cancer, don't do flaxseed. And that is incorrect, because what happens is when it comes to flaxseed, it works on the estrogen receptor beta, which is what you have on your skin, nails, hair, eyes, even more of the peripheral parts of your body. The stuff that, for example, things like estrogen in a form of a cream, or estrogen taking orally, even you shouldn't be doing that, or estrogen in, in the birth control pills, for example, right, works on the estrogen alpha receptor. Okay, and so you have alpha and beta. Alpha is found in all your sex organs, meaning your ovaries, breast, uterus, right? Beta, it's more of a peripheral tissue. And so this is really important to understand, that when you're taking things like flaxseed and you have a history of breast cancer, this is not an issue, because that flaxseed is going to work on your beta receptor and not on your alpha receptor. So that's, this is really, and the other thing is, what most practitioners don't even understand and address is the fact that how you break down estrogen also matters a whole bunch, right? And so this is, if you follow us for a while, I always talk about the clean estrogen versus the dirty estrogen, right? And it's the dirty estrogen that causes the issues. Anyway, to plump up your estrogen, plump up your skin by raising naturally estrogen, one of the very simple things you can do is do a couple of tablespoons of flaxseed in a glass of water. You can add it to a smoothie. Just don't cook with it. You don't want to be putting any high temperature through flaxseed. That's the only, little hint and a hack here. Okay. These 2 tablespoons of flaxseed is going to give you some nice amount of phytoestrogen that's going to support your skin health. Furthermore, and it's not just like with a lot of functional foods, it's not just one thing that your body's going to benefit from. The other thing that happens with flaxseed is that is also fiber. So you're kind of like giving yourself like a sweeping through the colon. If you're constipated, it might help you resolve constipation as well, which is something that's really important, because you want to be pooping. You want to be getting rid of, expelling all the toxins, including metabolized estrogens and hormones, through that. With DHEA, is a little bit tougher, because there aren't many foods that are high in testosterone as such. And so but the trick here is this: women in women, testosterone and DHEA is created in our adrenals, right? In men, it's testes. In women, it's in our adrenals. So one of the things that you can do is to support your adrenal health really, really well. And I don't want to talk about adrenals today, because it's a larger topic. What you can do is go to hormonesbalance.com and take a look at our articles about adrenal health. And there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. Things like vitamin B6, zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, and vitamin C are just like your baseline, things. This is not to mention some adaptogens can also help. But with adrenals, it's also, you have to remember that if your adrenals are depleted, because, for example, right now you went through a lot of stress because of the holiday period, there's a lot of travel, there's cancellations, there is just the craziness of family, maybe there's financial responsibilities, cost of living going up, whatever are the stressors, that's going to be a big contributing factor as well, right? So in the articles, we talk about reframing, just dealing with stuff like that. But, I'm sure you can relate to, like, when I say, when somebody had gone through a year of stress, like how haggard they look, right? Have you ever seen that before on yourself or other people? I just saw a friend of mine who kind of disappeared from social media because he went through a really hard 1 year, and he resurfaced just a couple of days ago. And I was like, wow, he's aged so much. He's gone through from having a little bit of white hair to having a full head of white hair with a course of a year. So stress is a huge one, and is always going to be depleting you of DHEA, testosterone. So taking care of your adrenals can really help. If you're working with a practitioner you really trust, you can talk to him or her, and make sure you work with somebody who specializes in hormones. Work with him or her on either getting DHEA on the smallest dose, like 5 milligrams, not more than that, and then seeing whether that's going to help you. And typically that will help you with building muscle. It's going to help your skin, elasticity of the skin. It might help you with energy, with confidence, with sleep, with brain function, right? So testosterone has a huge function, can play a big function in women's health too. Okay, so can you crush flax seeds to put them in the water? Yeah, so you first grind the flaxseed, and then the ground flaxseed, you put that in the water, and then you just chug it down. And it's, it's very tasty, so it doesn't taste bad at all. Okay, I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Jen, let's talk about the vitamin C next, because I kind of mentioned vitamin C already. So let's move on to our next tip number 4. And that's vitamin C inside and outside. So the reason why I say inside and outside is because vitamin C, a lot of people think of vitamin C as something that helps your immune system, right? And that's very correct. But that's not the only function that vitamin C has. Vitamin C also helps you with progesterone production. And then lastly, a lot of people don't realize that actually vitamin C is one of the biggest raw ingredients that's necessary for the body to produce our own endogenous, means internally produced collagen, right? So you can do collagen externally, whether it's the HMB collagen or whether it's just a regular collagen. You can also apply collagen on your skin. There are some products that contain that as well. If it's plant-based, it's just a waste of your money, just so that you know. It's just like a little side note here, actually, because I think it's really interesting. In Poland, we have a long history of mining, right? So, old-fashioned way of getting coal out of the, of mines, right? And so with mining come a lot of, apart from horrendous pollution and that humans have to do the work, there was always a lot of accidents, and a lot of the accidents included fire in a mine, right? And so there was one of the experiments they did on miners who were caught in the fire at a mine was to treat the burns, was to actually apply pig skin as a source of collagen on the skin, and they've been having phenomenal results. Problem is that in most countries you can't get permits, and I only know this because I used to have a client in New York who was Polish, and she was an esthetician, and she said to me, she's like, the collagen from an animal is what's gonna fix your skin when applied topically. Collagen found in plants is just useless. It's not gonna do. I'm talking about topically, right? It's not gonna work. So there was a really interesting thing, and I did some research on that, and it's true what she was saying. Most skincare, nobody can get a permit to use animal collagen topically. So that is a challenge there. That's the reason why I don't see that found in products. But anyway, so speaking of collagen, so vitamin C, when you're taking vitamin C internally, it can be a really wonderful way of your own endogenous production of collagen as well, right? Because you're not only depending on the outside, you can support your body in producing their own collagen. So we have 2 types of vitamin C in our store. One is absorbic acid, and that's a very inexpensive form of vitamin C. And it works. My personal preference is as I develop as a practitioner and a professional in the supplement world, my preference is going a little bit more towards food-derived, right, or food-based vitamin C. And so we have that's the reason why we put up our vitamin C complete. So you're getting, all the, not just vitamin C, but everything else that's around in the berries comes from the amla berry, which is Indian gooseberry, is the number 2 highest food in the world in vitamin C. So that's basically how that works on the internal, right? But then when you apply vitamin C, whether, for example, from amla externally, it can also help with collagen production. It's a little bit like, saying 1 + 1 = 5, meaning that if you do something internally, like taking vitamin C, and then you apply vitamin C on the outside, the result is exponential. So not surprisingly, our skincare line also contains vitamin C. Is very high in vitamin C. So like, for example, our serum is all vitamin C. based. It's amla, is derived from amla, so it's the same thing like what we're using in our supplement. And and so this is really where I feel like people are getting amazing results. The other thing about vitamin C, which is pretty cool, is that when taken internally and externally, it also helps to reduce brown spotting. So like if you have damage from the sun, for example, vitamin C helps to eliminate all of that, which is again taken internally and externally. So it helps with those aging spots, if you will, liver spots. Sometimes we call it like liver because why? Because we age, right? So whether it's aging spots or liver spots, is the same thing. So I think this is like the highlights, I think, of vitamin C. So all our products, including just so that you know, because I haven't talked about our skincare line in a long time. We have a cleanser which does not contain cocoa betaine, which is pretty awesome and important because cocoa betaine actually dries out your skin, including it removes the oily oil layer on your skin, which shouldn't be happening, and because then your body works even harder to produce more oil. We also have the number one selling product is the serum, and so that's got the vitamin C, and I'll show you in a second how clean the product is. It's so clean you can eat it, basically. Now, and I will eat the skincare in a second. And then we have the night moisturizer, which is also full of vitamin C. And not only that, right? I mean, we're using things like shea butter and aloe and pumpkin seed oil, and I mean, it's just a really, really nice, clean formula. We also have a night cream, which is also very popular. My personal favorite is the renewal cream, which is just perfect for winter right now. If you are in a place where there's a lot of when it's just cold outside, or if you're going to bed at night and you feel like your skin like really needs some TLC and some deep nourishment, then this cream is fantastic. It's for outdoor in winter. So one thing here, since we're on a winter topic, when you have a moisturizer like this one, it's got aloe, so it's a water-based moisturizer. You do not want to put that on and go outside, because that water, aloe is full of water. That water is going to freeze in the cold and is going to damage your skin. So that's a really bad idea. This one is oil-based. And so anyway, you don't have to buy it from us, but anywhere you buy it or you use your product, make sure it's oil-based if you're living in a cold place, such as Colorado or New York or Vermont or whatever you are from. If you're from Florida, you probably don't care. If you're in Florida, warm climates like that, then using something like this, like the renewal cream at night, is a really nice way, because you wake up and it's like, oh my God, it's like so nice and soft, and you feel your skin feels like really nourished, like it just got some food overnight. So so this is what we wanted to cover today. So I want to give you tip number 5 for today, which is product and clean ingredients. One of the things that was really surprising about our skincare line when we first launched it was, I really wanted to just put forward to you guys, because this was one of your requests when we asked you, like, what kind of products would you like to see from us more of? And so many of you said skincare. So 3 years ago, we started doing skincare. And, my expectation, my desire, and my mission, and my team's mission was to really put up the really clean product so that it does not have parabens in it. It doesn't have any BPAs. It does not have any any perfumes and phthalates in it. And neither did I want to hide behind ingredients that you just don't know what the hell they mean. And then you go to EWG's website and you search that ingredient, and it's like, oh my God, I need to be a chemist to understand that. So we just wanted to put a product out that's clean, that every ingredient you look at, it's like, oh yeah, aloe. Oh yeah, there is, there's shea butter. Oh, there is vitamin C and amla. Like, you just understand it. You don't need to be a chemist. And so one of the things I want to just say, that a lot of what you put on your skin, it matters a lot too, right? So we talked about a lot of the stuff that you put internally. So in case you were coming in late, we talked about collagen, taking collagen, the difference between collagen, regular collagen, and HMB collagen. We talked about diet and lowering inflammation. We talked about hormones, so estrogen and DHEA specifically. We talked about vitamin C, using it internally and externally. All of that can help tremendously. But the one thing, and so all of that is, So I would guess like majority of the conversation today was about inside and supporting your body and your skin from the inside. But really what matters also is like what you put on the outside. And it pains me that a lot of times people say it's an organic skincare line, and you actually look at it and it's like one or two ingredients is organic and everything else is like super chemical. And so this is the reason why, we have actually our products are USDA certified organic. So we have the certification, and that's really, really, really hard to get because you've got to be 95% organic in order to get the overall certification. So pay attention to these sort of things. When we were looking for a partner for the skincare, and I needed a formulator to help me formulate it, I can't tell you how many companies we've come across just really shyster marketing, where they will say, oh, it's, they will show the first three ingredients is like aloe, shea butter, and, say olive oil, right? But then those ingredients will be like at the bottom of the list of all the first things first were like so chemical and embarrassingly so. And I thought, well, this is just so unfair to the customer. So one of the things that I want to just give you some very simple pointers, a couple of things, let's just say, that don't serve your skin, but it's also easy for you to filter out whether the skincare line is clean or not, right? And so the first thing is trying to find a skincare line that does not use cocoa betaine in their cleansers. That's really one big giveaway. It gives skin like this sort of a clean feeling, but the truth of the matter is that you're stripping everything off the skin. And it's also, cocoa betaine also changes the pH of the skin, which is, there's something I'm going to talk about more in 2023. The pH of your skin, when it's too alkalized, does not help to grow the right bacteria on the skin. And then the bacteria is actually what gives you a lot of the health of the skin. So especially for those of you who are dealing with psoriasis, rosacea, changing the skin pH is going to be really detrimental. So it's going to make the symptoms a lot worse. So you might have noticed that, like, if you're using something with cocoa betaine, like your skin flares up even more. So it's really important to leave the layer of the oil, the natively produced oil on the skin, because it is a protective layer to the skin. So that's like a first giveaway. The other one that's really simple to look for is, any skincare products that contain at the end, typically, they will have the word perfume or fragrance. That's really bad news, because that means they're using phthalates. And if that is the case, it's typically a company that would be putting a lot of other shyster ingredients in it. There's so many ingredients to talk about that I could be doing a whole call on this. I'm not gonna even go there because it's just too long for this call. But yeah, so those are some of the big pointers. And one other thing I would just want to mention, how I said just now, sometimes whether skincare line is clean or not is because you can eat it. So this is an example of our serum. It's not the prettiest color, right? I mean, it's kind of like brown. And the reason why it's brown is because the amla berry makes it brown. That's just naturally what it is. And we didn't want to use any whiteners in order to change the color, because that's going to detrimentally impact your skin as well. So I just want to show you, first of all, like, we're using the very few fragrances. We don't use any fragrances of phthalates, but we use a tiny bit of essential oils and to give it a bit of a smell. So let me just show you. If I eat it, oh no, I squirted it onto my chin. That was my bad. Anyway, I can eat it. I mean, what does it taste like? It tastes like very berry-like. It tastes like I had an orange rind, literally that's what it is. So, and that's, what a clean product should be tasting like. Anyway, so this is what I have for today. Jen, do you want to put some questions and see what we want to answer? Just giving it a few more minutes. Are there any plant-based sources for collagen vegetarian? Yeah, there are. So from seaweed, I believe there are some seaweed-based ones and some good research on that showing improvements. And so, yeah, so those are some of the options for sure. I missed the beginning of the life. Which is more effective, marine or meat-based? And what is the specific type recommended? Are we talking about collagen here, Jen? Do you know? Let's take a look. Yes, it's about collagen. So, it's I'm still more for meat based, as in it's not meat based, but it's animal based. Collagen, that would be definitely my preference. Lynn is asking, do you have a product on Instagram that will reduce very, very white face oil? So face oil, the question is like, why is your body producing that? And so one of the things I would say that would be really worthwhile for you to consider is really a change of diet to see whether that helps. Because otherwise it's kind of like, it's hard to know, like, why is your body producing white face oil? One of the things I've noticed about the elimination diet, when people change a diet, like so many things just start changing, and then you don't have to chase every single symptom. What else do we have, Jen, that would you like me to answer? Any discounts for end of the year sales? No, our discounts are over. But what we did, like I said, we are just notifying you guys our prices are going to be going up. And so if you want to shop before the prices go up, you still have 3 more days left for that. Oh, and we have free shipping as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention we have free shipping. Thanks, Jen, until January 2nd as well. So we actually in a free shipping mode right now. So even, for example, if you just want to get the serum and try it out, you're not paying for shipping at this point. Otherwise, our free shipping is above $97. Okay, do we have any other ones? Okay, the rest of it is a lot of chatting. So I just want to say, I want to wish you guys a very happy New Year. I don't know whether are you guys still celebrating the 31st, because I don't know, like I feel like I stopped doing that in my 30s, and I actually haven't really been doing much except for going to bed at 10 o'clock, waking up, but it's like, oh, that's just January 1st. I'm not really wanting to stay and sacrifice my sleep in any way. So that's gonna be my new year. And I'm gonna go live just the day before my birthday, so on the 4th of January, just to say hello and share some thoughts and what it feels like to be 50. I'll be turning 50. And yeah, so well, thank you for being here. A very happy new year. We sent out you might have seen a questionnaire about what kind of content would you like to see from us next year. So please do fill it up. It literally takes 3 to 4 minutes to tell us what kind of stuff would you like to see next year. And because, we really want to just create stuff that helps you rather than be guessing of what's helpful and what's not. Okay. Thanks so much, everyone. And we'll see you next year. Bye for now.